All right. Good afternoon. I am Jessica Carroll, the Interim Program Manager for the Measure 110 program at OHA. I will be assisting Amy with facilitation for today's meeting. The Oversight and Accountability Council welcomes and encourages community input. Members of the public are invited to submit public comments or to get on our interested parties email list by emailing oha.measure110@odhsoha.oregon.gov. That email address and more information about the council can be found on the Measure 110 OAC website. For more information or support with community engagement, please reach out to Sydney McConnell. OAC members have asked that OHA and other staff who are present in the meeting space introduce themselves in the chat. Please share your role with the agency, and if you are a subject matter expert, your area of expertise. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Amy.
Welcome everyone to our weekly meeting, bi-weekly meetings of Ballot Measure 110 Accountability Committee. We will be having a call to agenda. So there's additional discussion on the NTE correction and we'll have a vote. We're also going to do the grantee property security discussion and vote. And then we'll have some OHA updates. And I would like to turn it over to Sydney for attendance.
Hey, everyone. So I just got an email from a council member that they can't join. They're getting a message from Zoom. Jessica, can you reach out to Ryan while I take roll? Sorry. Sorry about that. I just popped up. Okay. Hi, everyone. Glad you're here. When I call your name, please say here for the record. Amy.
I'm here.
Hi, Amy. Carlos? No Carlos yet. Caroline?
Here.
Hi, Caroline. Dharma?
Here.
Hi, Dharma. Hubert?
Here.
Hi, Hubert. Hunter let us know he would not be here today. Jackie? Jackie? You there?
I'm here. I'm sorry. Couldn't get to the.
That's okay. No worries.
Quick enough.
No worries. Keisha?
I'm here.
Keisha. Oh, hi, Keisha. Leticia also will not be here today. Linda?
Here.
Hi, Linda. Oops. Sorry, I just put my number in the chat. Sorry about that. Melinda?
Here.
Hey, Melinda.
Hello.
Meredith?
I'm here.
Hey, Meredith.
Hello.
Morgan? Don't see Morgan yet. Nicole? See Nicole yet. Onisha?
Here.
Hey, Onisha. Ron?
Here.
Hi, Ron. Ryan, I know is trying to get in. Sabrina is going to be late, but I didn't know how late. I have that noted. Zeb? Hey, Zeb. Sam is out today. She will not be here. And Annalise?
Here.
Hi, Annalise. Okay, we have 13 present. Kristen, you want to take it since Jessica's probably still talking to Ryan? Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Kristen Dawn Hefner, Measure 110 Program Manager here. We have two relatively short presentations today, but both will include votes. So if we could pull up the slides for the first presentation.
Do you want to switch the order?
Either way, I can do the NTE presentation first if that's what's up.
Okay.
Thanks, Sydney. So this presentation might look familiar. We had a similar one a few weeks back, but we just have a few corrections that we need y'all to approve for the grant extensions. Next slide. Before we get into it, this presentation affects 2 grantees. So we'd like to call for conflicts. The 2 grantees affected are the Stronghold in Klamath County and the Marie Acquis Institute in Multnomah County. As a reminder, if you have an actual conflict of interest, you must announce the nature of the conflict and refrain from participating in the discussion. If you announce a potential conflict of interest, you must also announce the nature of that conflict, but you can participate in the discussion and vote. Are there any conflicts, either potential or actual, with either the Stronghold or the Marie Acquis Institute? All right, seeing none. As you might remember from a few weeks ago, due to a formula error in Excel, the not to exceed amount of several grantees were published and approved by the council with clerical errors. And that was an error on OHA's part, not on any of the grantees' part. And these revisions will not change any of the services provided by the affected partners. It will not increase their scope or decrease their scope. This is just what we had negotiated and agreed to, but some numbers got messed up along the way. So we're really sorry for that mistake and for any confusion that this causes. So in this slide, you can see both the not to exceed or NTE that was originally approved by this council, as well as the corrected amount that was negotiated. As you can see from these slides, they are fairly small amounts, but they are important to grantees to allow them to continue to do this work through June of 2025. We have a proposed motion to approve these 2 NTEs, but I will pause here for any questions or discussions.
Thank you for that.
Okay. Starma.
I would just move to approve the NTE corrections of the organizations and dollar amounts listed on slide 5.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Dharma, and thank you, Amy. All right, Sydney.
1 second, let me get my screens here. Okay, motion to approve those slides or those changes as listed. Amy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Carlos, still not here. Caroline, how do you vote?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Dharma?
Yes.
Hubert?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes.
Keisha?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Melinda? Melinda?
Yes. Sorry. I couldn't get
No
my
worries.
sound to work. Thank you.
That's okay. No problem. Thank you. Meredith?
Yes.
Thank you. Morgan? I don't see Morgan still. Nicole, would you like to vote?
Worse than it ever was in the first place.
I'm going to abstain. I just joined. I apologize.
Okay. No problem. I'm juggling screen. Usually I see when people join and I did not see you, so I apologize also. Onisha. Onisha votes yes in the chat. Ron?
Yes.
Ryan, don't see Ryan's made it in yet. Sabrina has not made it yet, and Zeb.
Yes.
Thanks, Zeb. That passes with 12 yes votes.
Thank you, Sydney. I think the next one that we have to discuss are the grantee property security discussion. And that will be from Jessica and Lisa with DOJ.
Thanks, Amy. And I think I'm going to jump in and take this one too. We're swapping out roles today. So if we could bring those slides up. Thank you. So this presentation affects Providence, Portland, and Multnomah County. Again, calling for for any conflicts of interest, potential or actual. Dharma, I see you have your hand up, but I don't know if that's residual.
Sorry.
Nope, no worries. Just want to make sure you weren't announcing a conflict of interest. But if you have a potential or actual conflict of interest with Providence, Portland, and Multnomah County, please raise your hand now. All right, not seeing any. We can move forward. So, as many of you know, the grant agreements impose an obligation on all grantees that states, except as otherwise expressly agreed by OHA in writing, when grant funds under this agreement in the amount of $10,000 and above are to be used for the purchase of or improvements to real property, the recipient shall, prior to such expenditure, notify OHA and execute a declaration of restrictive covenants to secure real property or improvements. And this is a procedure that was based on the council's vote from June 1, 2022, and secures the state interest in property for a 20-year term. The current procedure that's required, there's kind of 3 tracks that have evolved over the last 18 months. But for most real property purchases, the grant recipients must execute what is called a declaration of restricted covenants with OHA on behalf of the council. This declaration imposes a use restriction on the property for 20 years. The declaration must be signed by the recipient or the owner of the property and is recorded with the county property records. And the restriction runs with the improved or purchased property. The grant does not need to be repaid then if the recipient meets the use restriction for 20 years. For renovations to leased spaces, the council voted on December 21st, 22 to not require a declaration of restricted covenants for current recipients if they were previously approved to use grant fundings for improving leased property if less than $300,000 was awarded for the property investment. Instead, grant agreements are extended by 5 years to ensure that grant recipients can use the leased and improved real property to provide services for SUD clients. Most recently, on February 28th, 24, the council voted to impose a use restriction on property for 10 years or the lifespan of the property, whichever comes later, for semi-permanent structures or pod structures. So this is kind of a new 4th category that only affects one grantee. And the problem, big problem, is that the declaration of restricted covenants is not an appropriate tool to secure the council's investment in Providence's stabilization and recovery area. Providence Portland was funded by the council to create a dedicated stabilization and recovery area within their emergency room, and this is 8 beds. However, the declaration of restricted covenants tool for securing this investment doesn't work well because, in part, the declaration would apply to Providence's entire emergency department, including non-Measure 110 dedicated areas, and In the event of a public health emergency or natural disaster, such as a pandemic or an earthquake, Providence may need to make those beds available for emergency patients. So our proposed solution, and we have worked with Providence on this, Providence has agreed to a contractual use restriction for a period of 20 years to use those beds for providing stabilization and recovery services to individuals with SUD. In the event of an emergency declaration, Providence could suspend the dedicated use of those beds and use beds for its emergency response plan. They would notify the council and OHA of that suspension. And after the emergency declaration is over, Providence would resume dedicated use of those beds for stabilization and recovery services for people with SUD. Using a contractual use restriction instead of a declaration of restricted covenants would mean that the use restriction wouldn't apply to the entire emergency room or hospital, but OHA could still enforce Providence's use of that space. So it's just a different tool that kind of achieves the same, a very similar outcome. So we have a proposed motion here, but I will pause to see if there are any questions or discussions.
So I have not a question, but I just got hired with Providence, so I think I'm gonna have to be. I have a conflict, so I'm not gonna vote on this.
Okay, thanks, Hubert. Just turn your camera
All right.
off and you're good. Ron.
Yeah, hi, thanks. This might be nitpicking, but who would issue a emergency declaration? Would it be state, federal, city, county? What determines a emergency declaration?
I believe the current language is either a state disaster declaration or a federal disaster declaration.
Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions or discussion?
I make a motion to, I move to authorize OHA to amend Provident Portland's grant agreement to include a contractual use restriction for 20 years to continuously operate or hold 8 beds for individuals with SUD within the stabilization and recovery area. Number 2, the use restriction would allow Providence to suspend these requirements in the event of a public health emergency or disaster declaration.
I'll second.
Thank you, Melinda, and thank you, Meredith. All right, Sydney, I'll turn it over to you for a vote.
I'm gonna stop my share and get back to my other screen. That motion was made as written and stated and seconded. Sorry, I'm gonna mark Hubert's conflict real quick. Sorry, thank you all for your patience. Amy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Carlos, no, Carlos still. Caroline,
Yes.
Dharma,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Keisha,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Melinda,
Yes.
Meredith.
Yes.
I don't see Morgan. Nicole,
Yes.
Onisha,
Yes.
thank you. Ron,
Yes.
Thank you. Ryan, glad you made it. Voting no?
No.
Okay. Let's see. Sabrina, did Sabrina make it? I don't see Sabrina yet. And Zeb.
Yes.
Zeb. That passes with 12 yes votes, 1 no vote.
Thank you, Sydney. Thank you, everyone, for your votes and all your discussions and stuff and everything. Okay, so that went really quickly and smoothly. So now we just have OHA updates, and I'm not sure if Jessica's available to do that or if somebody else would. I have it here, what we're going to have the update on. Do you want me to read it, Sydney, or is Jessica available?
I'm here, but actually, hi everyone. Thank you, Amy. Actually, most of these updates are going to be given by Sydney McConnell anyway, since she sent all of this information to you. So, Sydney, do you want to take it?
Yeah, let me just pull up to make sure that I'm saying the right things. I know one of them is we sent out the survey for RSVPing to the in-person training, and those details were sent to you. I am going to send a follow-up email to everyone we haven't heard from yet after this meeting. I know that we're still a while out, but it is important that we can get mileage information and everything to the business office so that we can get those gas cards to you either before or at the meeting. So that's the main rush on that. And then after we have that, we'll work out all the rest of the details. The other one I know we have is the SEI filing. That window closes on Sunday. And again, members can be subject to monetary penalties if that is not completed. So it's definitely important that you, Linda.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I may have missed this. I was curious, the in-person training, like what will we be doing?
So we have 2 trainings planned for all of you. We're doing our, we've done about a yearly or semi-annual OGEC training that talks about conflicts of interest and various other things that may affect you as a public official. And we also have another one that's new this time around that the Equity and Inclusion Office is helping us with about just day-to-day council life and sort of how you all interact with each other, and especially in a remote situation, like hopefully doing some other. Go ahead, Jessica.
Yeah, so they're gonna talk to us. The OGEC put together a training. We're gonna see the final training in I think this week, and we can just update more on it once we see it. We just gave them some general parameters, and it should have an equity focus, which is super important, especially when doing this kind of work. And so yeah, and we all get to see each other in person and not just as squares.
Thanks, Jessica. I haven't seen the training yet, so I wasn't sure what the final result was. And then just finishing up the OGEC, I know Hubert had a question earlier. If you are not sure if that has been completed or if you have questions about it, please reach out to OGEC, Oregon Government Ethics Commission. They are the keepers of that information and can help you complete it. I will resend the newsletter email with the webinar trainings, the walkthrough, the public officials guide, and the contact information right after this meeting as well. So you'll get 2 emails from me right after this.
Any other updates, Jessica?
That is it.
That's it. Wow. Okay. I guess we can give you back most of your afternoon if anybody doesn't have anything else. Thank you, everyone, for who attended today's meeting, and have a great day.
Thank you.
for
Bye.
participating, Amy.
Thank
Bye,
you. Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
But wait, so,
See ya.
oh, no, I need to talk to,
right.
I can't figure out what am I talking about?
Don't know.
Oh, Hubert.
See you later.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah. Y'all was gonna give me some information about that?
Yeah, so we're gonna email you. You have to call them. So unfortunately, with the
Oh,
Ethics Commission stuff, like we don't have access to it and we can't help
okay.
you with it, unfortunately, but they're very helpful.
All right. Well, I did it, but then they said I guess I'm just trying to, hope I did it when yeah. But they said thank you, so I don't know if they said thank you. I guess I'm clear. I don't know.
Well,
So I
I
just
think,
email them and they'll tell me.
yeah, I think you could just
Huh?
call them. They have people who answer the phone. You can just say like, hey, I think I would just want to make sure I did this right, and they can tell you.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. We appreciate you, Hubert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a good.
And real
All
quick,
right.
Sydney.
Me?
Yeah.
What's up?
So I'm not sure 100% that paper I sent you if I did it right, but that's something I can ask the what is it, SEI people?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. I'll call them ASAP. Okay.
Okay. And I don't know if we're still live streaming, so don't everybody still know we may still be on YouTube because I see Britt's in here. So,
Okay. Bye.
all right. Bye. All right. I think we can end.